your precious living. I'm going to want to get closer to Jesus. And I notice the song said, to your precious living side. You know, sometimes sometimes we have parents, relatives, even friends, and we just want to be close to them. Sometimes when we figure it's to our advantage, we can gain something just for ourselves. You know, I know some people how they live is really they have to be getting something out of it for themselves. You know, and they can't see the other person as, you know, for all that love that they should have. But this is how we need to look at Lord Jesus. Not because he's just getting something out of him, but because we love him. I want this song that says, oh my God. Oh God. Let's magnify the Lord, for he is worthy to be praised. Let's magnify the Lord, for he is worthy to be praised. Singing, Hosanna, blessed be the rock, blessed be the rock of my salvation. Hosanna, blessed be the rock, blessed be the rock of my salvation. Let's magnify the Lord, for he is worthy to be praised. Let's magnify the Lord, for he is worthy to be praised. Singing, Hosanna, blessed be the rock, blessed be the rock of my salvation. Hosanna, blessed be the rock, blessed be the rock of my salvation. Let's magnify the Lord, for he is worthy to be praised. Yes, let's magnify the Lord. Do you agree? Do you feel that way? He is worthy to be praised. Sing it with me. Hosanna, blessed be the rock, blessed be the rock of my salvation. Hosanna, blessed be the rock, hallelujah, blessed be the rock of my salvation. Hosanna, Can I say it? I noticed the Holy Spirit give it that one here, and I just say it. Blessed be the rock. I think it's very fitting to say Hosanna. Blessed be the rock of my salvation. Today I have, as I said, I wasn't able to write a blog last night. I couldn't do it. I was just too tired. It didn't make any sense. I even tried to kind of concentrate on anything. And even now, I thank God I can at least concentrate on doing this program. This morning I see Jesse, I get the subject about the first family. And, oh my Lord, I don't even know. You might be asking me like, then I said to myself, I don't want to make the, this thing to be ambiguous, because in this country, and I think other countries, they talk about the first family, they talk about the first lady, the first cat, the first dog. I thought about it, I said to myself, you know, where do people, how do people come to get to that point where they're talking these things that don't even, let me just say, you know, there was a time when the people never did those things, you know. The president's wife was not a first lady, she was the president's wife. She was Mrs. whoever. Excuse me 1 second. Well, the president. The pastor's wife was not a first lady. And the dog in the White House was not a first dog. Neither was the cat, the first cat in the this place they say in England. They said they have a first cat there, who the people love the first cat. First cat, of course, is maybe better off being the first cat than the president or the prime minister, because the first cat tends to stay with the residents as long as they live, possibly, while the official might be voted out next year and have to leave that place, and you know, after 4 years and have to go. Well, if it's their cat they bring there, then they might take the cat with them. You know, what I'm just saying is that the things, what we call a first cat, first dog, all of these things, first lady, first man, and at the wedding they talk about the best man, is always the man standing with the groom. I have a problem with that when I was a child, really, asking why the groom could not be the best man. But where people get their names from and how they set up things, sometimes sometimes it doesn't make any, you don't see any logic to it, but sometimes people gravitate toward it and they still use it, but they don't even think about it. But in truth and in fact, you really cannot have so many first families and so many first dogs and so many first cats, and I don't know, maybe you have the first mouse also, the Tom and Jerry, and the first this and the first that. If something is first, it's first. It's not something that you have first and next year you have another first and another first. When they're making a discovery of something and they make this, they say the first, because they didn't know about it before. A ship is going out for the first time in the water, first voyage, it's called a maiden voyage, first, right? When you, but of course, there are things which in life sometimes you might be in a class and you could be doing a subject, or you could be in a class and you could come first. I've been there, done that. I'm saying that is maybe next year or maybe some other time somebody has become first because of the grade they make, right? The first in the thing. But we talk about family, I'm going to be talking somewhat about family. Okay, so just start talking about it this week. There is a first family, right? And the first family is Adam and Eve. That was the first family. Many times, people who are in the church, people who are more seasoned in the Christian, as Christians, and they understand that Adam and Eve were a family. But by and large, people, when they talk about Adam and Eve, they say, well, it was the first man, the first woman. And they do not, they don't understand. Well, to be honest, when I was young and going to, weddings, and I heard the preacher doing a wedding, and he said that Adam and Eve were a family. Sometimes I used to think about it, and I said, but how are they a family and they never had any children yet, right? How are they a family? But, you know, as you grow older, you understand that the family begins with the coming together of a man and woman in marriage, and that's where the family begins. So God ordained it. That's where the family begins. Okay, so they might, in some cases, never have a child, which is might be unfortunate, or it could be good too, right? You know, you might say, well, God knows, but that's where the family begins. Family begins with man and woman. Family begins with male and female, okay? Family begins with the coming together of a man and woman, just like how God did it with Adam and Eve. You realize that the Bible said that when God made all the animals, He made them companions to each other. So He didn't have like a lot of lions, you know, lions were there and all of them with their beard. Then they were looking at each other like, you know, something is missing. So He gave the lion a lioness, you know what I'm saying? And he gave for the horse, He gave the stallion a mare, you know what I'm saying? And for the ram goat, the sheep, for the ram, He gave a ewe, you see, so, and they just partner together like that, you know what I'm saying? You ever notice, like, if you have cows in a meadow, how they come together? You don't hear them talking and say, like, hey, come over here, cow, my name, they don't. But somehow they know they are cows and they come together, right? And so when they come together, and if they were rabbits, they would come together also. Something about them, they know that they are alike, okay? But, and in a family setting, there is a coming together of man and woman. And so it has been, so it will be. We know that in the world today, people are trying to change the setting of what family is about, you know what I'm saying, and trying to change what God has instituted and what God has set up, you know, and this is why I talk now about this thing, but I'm trying to figure out what am I going to call this title of this the subject, what is going to be the subject of today's talk or message. And they said the first family, and when I wrote it down, something hit. I said, hold on, but you talk about first family, somebody going to think of the White House with the president and his wife and children, and I'm not talking about that. I said, and if you're smart enough to know that we're talking about the Word of God, you know that's not what we're talking about. That's not really important either. Because I tell you, those first families, they go in and out. Right? As I said, the one they have over Prime Minister Boris Johnson, they said that the cat been there longer than a lot of presidents, prime ministers. You've seen them come and go, and not even know exactly who they are either. Right? Because it doesn't matter. If they were a mouse, maybe the cat would be maybe more interested in them, but they go in and out, you know, like a revolving door. They come in and they go out. The idea of a first family rests upon what God instituted, okay? And, you know, I know that even in the church, well, let me not say in the church, let me say say the church. In church circles, there are people who are trying to, you know, change the whole thing and you know, make it look like, well, there can be a family different from how God instituted it. And I'm saying, you know how serious it is if you have a car and there are so many cars on the road, right? So many cars on the road, and so many planes up in the sky, right? There are different kind of refrigerators, different kind of stoves, different manner of whatever, cameras, computers, all of these things, right? People make them, and they make them a certain way. They put their technology into it. You know what I'm saying? And if I buy a Nikon, I think it's Nikon camera, is it? But I say I bought a Sony camera and something was wrong with it, right? I can't go out and call Nikon because Nikon didn't make it. They say, what is the serial number on your camera? He said, so I said, we don't have any such serial number in the product we make. He said, he said, but what is it? Oh, no. This is a Sony. It was made by Sony. Okay? Sony has the copyright, that's not the right word. The patent for it. Okay? Because they made it. The same thing with a car. It might be that, as I said, the camera can do the same thing as the other one. It might have the same features. The car maybe can do the same thing as the other one, have the same features. Because the manufacturers tend to copy one another. But it's not the same, okay? Because you can't call Mazda and tell them that, well, you have a problem with your Honda. It's the same thing they say. I mean, what model do you have? You say, I have an Accord. They say, Accord? I guess, I'm sorry lady, I'm sorry sir, maybe, I think you have a Honda, really. We don't make anything like that, okay? And why do I say all of this is that the way how the Honda is designed, it might maybe look like a Mazda 626, I'm just saying this for argument's sake, right? But the fact is that even if it looks like it, it's not it. Right? So if you have a problem with that thing, or you want to know something about how that car is made, you cannot go to Mazda's website, okay? And they will tell you that's not our car. You can have one of our cars if you want, you can buy one if you want. I would welcome if you buy, would appreciate if you really choose Mazda. But what you're driving now is not a Mazda, it's a Honda. Why am I saying all of this? Because in the world today, people have despised the manufacturer. They have despised the creator, trying to do the thing their own way. And when something is wrong, whatever it has to do with it, they are not going back to the manufacturer. They're not going back to the creator. They're trying to reconstruct the whole thing. It's like when a man have a car and he decide to soup it, you know. So he goes in and he changes maybe the camshaft, and he might bore the engine block and make the piston, put in bigger pistons or whatever. And his idea is that when I'm driving down the street with people and they look at my car the same way, but when I like that and they see me like shoot off down the road, they say, well, hold on, how come the car looks just like mine and it's so fast, you know? And they get a kick out of that. To some people, that's a big deal to them in life, you know. I mean, that's heaven to them, okay? And so anyway, what I'm just saying to you is that, but you can modify the car to the place where when you go to register the car, they ask you, what make is this car? You say Honda. They said, what model? You say the Civic. They ask you what's the color. You tell them. You say maybe it's blue. But when they check the what do you call it, the VIN, and they look at it, they say, well, hold on. But this car doesn't match with what the manufacturer said. So why does it look like that? It doesn't even look like a Honda. What is it? What have you done to the car? Right? You've changed it up to the place where it cannot be recognized as how Honda made it. Right? And we've got to the point where today people have more respect for those things than for the creator. You know, tampering with God's creation because they have the devil. Okay? And so, as I said to you, is that we have to be careful of some of these terminologies we use because, as I said, I knew a time when these things never existed. You know, it's just like when I talk about people having security and they want to have the most sophisticated security that they can stay over in Japan and turn on their fridge or close the door and all these kind of things and see when, and to them they get a kick out of it. All of those things they feel like they're on top of the world, but these things are made by men, okay? But one of the reasons the thieves and the cooks actually feed the security companies, because when the man used to say I could pick most locks with a cover cord, right? That was back in the 90s when all this was coming up. And people got scared when they hear the man talk about he could pick a lock with a credit card. Okay? So they want to get a security system. Right? So these men actually feed these people, putting more money in their pocket. So because people are scared. Alright? Okay, so I'm just saying to you that, going back to what I said, that people are not looking to the manufacturer. They're looking to themselves to solve problems which sometimes, as I said, they themselves created. So the crooks make the security companies rich. Okay? They do. Might say, well, but that's the logic of it. Drive fear into people's heart, so they run and get these systems. And when they run and get them, well, I said there was a time when people never used those things. They went to bed and they were fine. Okay, they never, right? They were fine. So the thieves actually feed the pockets of these people. Now let me get back to this that I'm saying here now. So when we talk about the first family, the first family, the very first family was started in Eden, in the Garden of Eden. Okay, so for us who are saved, we need to just stop talking about this thing about that Adam and Eve were the first man. It wasn't just about that, okay, because God was not about a first man. If you notice that where the elephant was concerned, if they had names like Jane and John, you would say that the first elephant was Jane and John. But you see the difference with Adam. That Adam did not have a companion, right? He did not have. There was no likeness with Adam. None. So when God put Eve into the picture, right? When God put Eve into the picture, He already established the male and female with the animals and also with the trees, right? They also have a male and female too. So He had set up a standard, okay? He had set something, a principle, a governing principle in life, that when it comes to creation, there is a male and a female, right? It's there in the plants and it's there with the animals. And Adam, now, it was not with him. Alright? And don't call him Adam an animal. He's not an animal. Okay? The Bible tells you all these animals, they had their meat. So, you know, people are telling you that man is an animal. He's not an animal. Okay? All the animals had their partners with them. They were male and female. The trees were male and female. Adam was the only one who in the creation was single, just by himself. So God did not make another man to say, well, the two of them would have company and sit down maybe on a wood log and talk and whatever. Because even if I have another man with my friend, we can sit down and talk, have a drink, whatever. It's not the same as if when I'm with a woman. It's not. You see? And it's not the same. And if we're two women together, it's not the same. Okay? They're not made for each other. So Adam and Eve. Adam was there alone, then God created Eve. And he made Eve. And as soon as Adam saw Eve, something inside of him made him realize that she was different from himself, yet compatible and made as a helpmeet, as the Bible said, suitable for him, right? And he called her a woman, and he realized from the moment he saw her that he could see physical differences about himself and hers, right? And also that in process of time he realized that her behavior and how her emotions were different from his, right? And we as men know that. When we're very young, sometimes we don't understand that. And sometimes you have argument with your sister and fights and all these other things. Because as far as you're concerned, it's just another sibling and they're supposed to be just like you. You expect your sister supposed to be like you expect your brother, sister expect the brother, so maybe, you know, so you argue, but you don't know that you are made up differently, right? You're made up differently, and sometimes you say, why can't she do that? Why can't he do that? You're not the same, right? Emotionally, psychologically, and physically, and it's a very deep thing. So the Bible tells you now, this mother was reading it, and children, that when God created Adam, and the story is well known, and he created Eve, he took a rib, so he took a part out of him and made a woman. He never did that with animals. I tell you, man is just an animal. He never did that, okay? And he made the woman to be a company for Adam. And so it is, that woman would